What is the value of the expression 3 squared plus 33 divided by 2 multiplied by 3? Which option do you think is the correct answer to this question? At first glance, this expression seems very simple, but unfortunately, many people get tricked. Let's go step by step and solve it together. To solve this question, many people start by calculating 3 squared first, and instead of the original expression, they rewrite it as 9 plus 33 divided by 2 multiplied by 3. And the next step, they usually perform the addition between 9 and 33 and simplify this expression to 42 divided by 2 multiplied by 3. Then, they proceed by doing the division between 42 and 2, which gives them 21 multiplied by 3. And finally, they multiply 21 by 3, which ends up with the answer 63. Then, without any hesitation, they quickly say that option D is the correct answer to this question. However, it's not the correct answer to this question. Also, some other people when solving this question first go for the expression 3 squared and they simplify to 9 plus 33 divided by 2 multiplied by 3. And the next step, they usually go for the multiplication between 2 and 3 because they think multiplication has priority over division. So, they rewrite this expression as 9 plus 33 divided by 6. Next, they perform the division between 33 and 6 since they believe division has priority over addition. And they rewrite this expression as 9 plus 5.5, which ultimately gives them the answer 14.5. And immediately, they conclude that option B is the correct answer to this question. However, this answer is absolutely wrong. Alright, now let me walk you through step by step how to solve this expression properly. To solve this question, we must follow the PEMDAS rule. We should perform these operations exactly in order from top to bottom step by step. Alright, as you can see in the image and this expression, first we have an exponent, then an addition sign, followed by a division, and finally a multiplication. We should start with the exponent, because in this expression, exponent has a higher priority than the other operations. So, this expression simplifies to 9 plus 33 divided by 2 multiplied by 3. And the next step, we need to handle the division and multiplication, since multiplication and division have higher priority than addition. However, it's really important to understand that multiplication and division have equal precedence. In this situation, the best thing to do is to start from the left side of the expression and move toward the right, performing division and multiplication in order. So, first we perform the division between 33 and 2, and this expression simplifies to 9 plus 16.5 multiplied by 3. In the final step, we do the multiplication between 16.5 and 3, which gives us 9 plus 49.5. And finally, the value of this expression is equal to 58.5. That's great. Option C is the correct answer to this question. Alright, now let's solve another tricky math question together. What is the value of the expression 39 divided by 3 multiplied by open parentheses 7 plus 6 close parentheses? Which option do you think is the correct answer to this question? Let's dive in and break it down step by step together. And the first step, most people start by solving the expression inside the parentheses and replace it with 39 divided by 3 multiplied by 13. And the next step, they go for the multiplication between 3 and 13 because they think multiplication has priority over division. So, this expression simplifies to 39 divided by 39, which finally gives them the answer 1. And immediately, they quickly say that option A is the correct answer to this question. However, that's definitely wrong. As you can see on the screen, in this expression, first we have a division sign, followed by a multiplication sign, and finally parentheses. To solve this question, we need to use the PEMDAS rule. PEMDAS shows us the priority of the order of operations. So, we must start with the parentheses first, because it has the highest priority than the other operations. Okay, This expression simplified to 39 divided by 3 multiplied by 13. Now, it's time to simplify this expression. It's very important to note that in the PEMDAS rule, multiplication and division have exactly the same level of priority. In this case, all we need to do is to start from the rest of the expression and move step by step toward the right. So, first we perform the division between 39 and 3, which simplified this expression to 13 multiplied by 13. And finally, the value of this expression will be 169. Therefore, option D is the correct answer to this question. What is the value of the expression 7 minus 3 inside the parentheses, then plus 10 divided by 2 multiplied by 5? Which option do you think is the correct answer to this question? Let's take a closer look and solve it together. And the first step of solving this question, many people go straight to the expression inside the parentheses and simplify the whole expression to 4 plus 10 divided by 2 multiplied by 5. And the next step, they perform the addition between 4 and 10 and simplify this expression to 14 divided by 2 multiplied by 5. And the final step, they handle the division between 14 and 2 and write this expression as 7 multiplied by 5, which eventually gives them the answer 35. Then, without any hesitation, they quickly say that option D is the correct answer to this question. However, this answer is absolutely wrong. Also, some other people when solving this question, first go to the expression inside the parentheses and write this expression as 4 plus 10 divided by 2 multiplied by 5. And the next step, first they handle the multiplication between 2 and 5 because they believe multiplication has a higher priority than division. So, they rewrite this expression as 4 plus 10 divided by 10. And the final step, they perform the division between 10 and 10 because they think division has a higher priority than addition. So, they simplify this expression to 4 plus 1, which ultimately gives them the answer 5. And immediately, they conclude that option A is the correct answer to this question. But I have to say, we're tricked and it's not the correct answer to this question. Alright, now let me show you how to solve this expression properly. As you can see on the screen, in this expression, first we have parentheses, then an addition sign, followed by a division, and finally a multiplication. To solve this question, we need to follow the PEMDAS rule step by step. We must perform all the operations strictly from top to bottom according to the PEMDAS rule. Okay, first we go to the parentheses, because according to the PEMDAS rule, parentheses have the highest priority over all other operations. So, we can write this expression as 4 plus 10 divided by 2 multiplied by 5. And the next step, we move on to the division and multiplication, because multiplication and division have higher priority than addition. However, it's very important to note that multiplication and division have exactly the same level of priority. In this situation, the best approach is to start from the left and move toward the right, performing these two operations in order. So, first we start with the division between 10 and 2, which simplifies this expression to 4 plus 5 multiplied by 5. And the final step, we handle the multiplication between 5 and 5, because multiplication has a higher priority than addition. And this expression simplified to 4 plus 25, which ultimately gives us the answer 29. That's great. Option C is the correct answer to this question.